Hello, champions. How are you doing? My name's Conor McGilligan. I said I was done, but I am not done. As of around about 20 minutes ago, Ange Postecoglou has been sacked from Tottenham Hotspur. Madness, in my opinion, but I wanted to talk about the ripple effect, and that is so massive in football, huge in football. You can see Brian Mbeumo here. We're going to get into just some of these done deals or nearly done deals when it comes to Mbeumo, when it comes to Cunha, Ryan Aït-Nouri, etc., and how this is massively going to benefit Leeds. Now, context applied. Ange Postecoglou has been sacked by Tottenham Hotspur after achieving a European trophy. First time in 17 years Spurs have won a trophy. First time they've won a major. Massive, absolutely huge. Football is not sentimental. Sacked. I think it's a really good decision by Tottenham Hotspur, especially with the loss ratio this season. Context applied, he had a lot of injuries, but you cannot lose that many games. Leeds United, when we went down under Jesse Marsch, lost 21 games. Spurs lost more than that this season and then won a European Cup. Crazy. Now, what's the ripple effect to that? The clear front runner by the Times, Guardian, other bookies is Thomas Frank. Massive front runner right now, which is huge. Latest news is reporting that they're exploring the possibility of appointing Brentford's Thomas Frank following Ange Postecoglou's departure. Spurs' view is Frank's tactical acumen, his ability to adapt Brentford's style week to week is a prime asset. Massive. We're big lovers of Thomas Frank on here, but would need to pay compensation and match his 20 million plus release clause to secure him. Now, he's amongst one of many, but Frank is the clear favourite now, with Marco Silva not being too far down. But I think it's huge in terms of the odds. Now, why his exit massively weakens Brentford, in my personal opinion. Tactical fluidity lost, and it depends who's coming in, of course. But Frank is so elite at shifting between a high press, quick transition, and more compact defensive blocks, and being effective at doing that consistently relative to the opponent is so good. And without him, for me, Brentford risk going to a little bit of a one-dimensional style with the players at their disposal. Now, there's going to be another ripple effect a little bit later down the line. Now, the club identity and continuity, Frank has been with them since 2018, guiding them to championship promotion, overseeing so many transfers there, and now them being a mid-table Premier League finish team who looks very consolidated in the top division of English football, which is unbelievable for Brentford. His very intimate knowledge of the recruitment model has been something he's spoken about, and people on behalf of him have spoken about as well. That Moneyball approach, which has got Brentford to that standard, and player development with a manager who's so good tactically, but so good man management wise as well, which has been commented on by Ivan Toney, which has been commented on by Ollie Watkins, is not easily replaced whatsoever. No matter how good Brentford's recruitment model is, of which we speak about it. Player trust and motivation is big as well. We can see with Mbeumo, we can see with Visser, what he manages to get out of these players and extract from these players is fantastic, and how they publicly spoke about Frank's man management this season has been exponentially sort of spoken of and credited. Johan Visser to Tottenham Hotspur. This is something that's been spoken about. And obviously, if we're talking about Thomas Frank leaving, is who Thomas Frank brings with him. Now, the connection here with Brentford, and the reason I'm talking about Brentford is because Leeds need to reel some of these clubs in, reel them in. Brentford could be a genuine vulnerability here. Johan Visser, recent reports on the 4th of June, 2025, and January, and last year have linked Tottenham Hotspur to Johan Visser. Spurs saw him at one point as a rotation option for Harry Kane, but obviously with this season that he's just had, he will be obviously a lot higher up with the fantastic season he's had. And sources like SB Nation and the Telegraph and others have spoken of him being engaged in discussions with Brentford over Visser as early as 2025 when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur. Around about 40 million could tempt Brentford in that one. Now, why does his exit weaken Tottenham Hotspur? Goal and weaken Brentford, I should say. Goal and chance creation. This is 28 years old, 20 goals in all competition on in the attack alongside this guy here, Brian Mbeumo. Versatility and passing, 0.32 goals per 90. Replacing that and replacing the goals is going to be really hard for Brentford to do. Really hard. And such a cohesive partnership as well. Both of them combined, their 39 league goals this season combined were roughly accounted for 65% of Brentford's Premier League goals last season. Huge. So that domino effect can happen massively, especially if Frank goes to Tottenham, which is odds on favourite to do. Apparently, they want a swift replacement. If he brings Visser with him, which there's been a lot of talk about Visser going to Tottenham without Frank, and then obviously Buemo going to Man United, they're believed to be quadrupling his fee in terms of weekly wage is going to be huge. Cunha's another one. Wolverhampton Wanderers, who Leeds need to be looking onto the confirmed deal, 62 million quid. They can reinvest that, of course. Wolves can, but they've got to sort of reinvest that perfectly. And the team has got to hit or the player has got to hit the ground running, or players have got to hit the ground running. For me, I think Cunha was the focal point of around about 18 of their 44 league goals this season. Wolves are going to struggle to convert chances, or create chances, I should say. And it's going to be interesting to see how Strand Larsen is able to pivot with another player who isn't of the level of Cunha. I mean, he's got 0.47 goals per game. Unbelievable. The tactical transition of Cunha as well, the fluid role, the pace, the creativity, the innovation allowed Wolves actually to switch between formations, between effectively a 4-2-3-1 and then a 3-4-2-1 as well, seamlessly in and out of possession. So replacing that's going to be really difficult as well. But obviously at the start of games as well, they would move between formations as well. So Wolves also built around Cooney's press and counter style. Losing him may force a little bit of a systematic rebuild as well, something to keep an eye on. Ryan Aït-Nouri is huge. We spoke about him coming to Leeds about 4 years ago. This is a City are effectively moving towards a signing of Ryan Aït-Nouri to Manchester City, Wolves to Manchester City, which would be big as well. Aït-Nouri's 0.22 goals and 0.17 assists per 90 offered Wolves. Obviously, that extra dimension on the left flank. Pep's identified him as a perfect fit. The defensive balance was okay, but I always thought when you're looking at Aït-Nouri, it's his overlapping pace, but his recovery rate and his 1v1 defending, I always thought was very good, and it's going to be good for City as well. I think losing both Cunha and Aït-Nouri simultaneously compounds Wolves' transition pains, in my opinion, attacking and defensively. I think the balance is going to take a lot of time to restore. I don't think you can replace two players like that. I think they are absolute gems when it comes to the impact that Wolves especially have going forward. So how do Leeds benefit? So I think taking together these moves incrementally improve Leeds United's survival chances, especially if we're able to build on this. You're weakening the sides of which we had to do. And obviously, a lot of this is hypothetical. We don't know. We don't know if Frank's going to go to Tottenham. We then don't know if this is going to follow. But that could very, very much happen. Once again, Spurs have been touting Visser this window already, 4th of June. They were doing it in January. So if Frank's to go, who is the odds-on favourite right now, the front runner after this Ange Postecoglou news, this could be big in terms of just those domino effects. And then you've got to replace Buemo, you've got to replace Visser, you've got to replace Thomas Frank. Huge, huge and weakening your opponent. So for me, Cunha and Aït-Nouri departing leave Wolves less potent, definitely going forward, and definitely more vulnerable defensively as well. And it's something to keep an eye on. Losing Frank and Visser, if that is to happen, which some of the reports are suggesting, mean that Brentford will definitely struggle to maintain that 10th place form, and is really going to put it to test that Moneyball approach 100%. And obviously, should Spurs, appoint Frank, I think that'll be massive. Absolutely massive. And obviously the ripple effect is going to be huge as well. Psychological effect on top of that as well. So the key takeaways are target weakening teams in this Premier League mold as well that we're in right now. Exploit the transfer window and really go for our targets and be aggressive. Maintain stability though with Leeds United, but add in and around it as well. But these could be really interesting departures when it comes to Leeds United, when it comes to our club, really. As I say, Cunha, done deal. And Buemo, nearly a done deal. Ryan Aït-Nouri, nearly a done deal. And could we start seeing Visser after Frank goes? If he does go, maybe moving the other way, though. But yeah, could Leeds actually benefit this? Could we actually benefit from Ange Postecoglou leaving Tottenham? Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. See you in a bit.